What up, what up, what up? Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Appreciate you tuning in once again. I'm in the kitchen because I am about to use my, see, can you see that? Instapot for the first time. Gonna make some stuffed bell peppers. So I'll probably make a video on how that turns out. Anyway, this video is going to be the third part to the three-part series on early Head Start, 5 domains of development, and I just recorded the ASQ'S screening tool and early intervention process. So, appreciate you walking with me. Like, comment, subscribe. Try not to get dizzy from me moving. Hit that notification bell. Santa Claus is gonna bring me a gimbal. I just know it. Peace. Namaste. All right, everyone, we are back, and I appreciate you coming back once again. Like I spoke of in video 2, this is the final video in the 3-part series on early Head Start, early childhood development, the 5 critical domains of development. And today we are going to discuss the screening tool most commonly used for the early stages, as well as what you do if a child scores very low on these screening tools. So we'll get right to it. And remember, if you request any additional information or you would like to see more on this topic on my channel, just drop me a comment, shoot me an email, or just let me know. And like I said, this is my baby right here. Children are my first passion, and I can go on for hours and days and videos on end on this topic. So the first screening tool that I have up for you here is the ASQ-SE. And what that is Ages and Stages Questionnaire. The SE stands for social emotional. If you remember, we talked about that in video 2 when we discussed the 5 critical domains, and I told you that social emotional is the most critical domain. It actually defines how well the child will do in every other aspect of life. So right here, I have one for 18 months, but right away, I want to start and bring your attention to, is it on this one? Okay, not the social emotional. Anywho, let me just say it. It'll probably be on the ASQ, the regular ASQ for sure. But with the ASQ-SE and the ASQ, there is an ASQ calculator. Hang on here. Okay, if you see here on my screen, I want to show you. There we go. Down here, you would put the date you intend to do the screening. You would put the date the child was born, and then pay close attention to this one, weeks premature, because the calculator will help you determine if you need to do uh, a ASQ that may be above their age range or beneath their age range. 9 times out of 10 with premature, you have to kind of start backwards. So, you know, if the child was born a month early, really we would treat that 3-month-old like a 2-month-old and so forth. So be sure when you're doing the ASQs that you're doing your ASQ age calculator and calculating, taking into account the weeks premature, if any, so that you get a true appropriate screening tool for the child, because it would be unfortunate if you screen the child severely low, schedule intervention services only because you used a screening that the child was not age appropriate for yet. So very, very important, this week's premature and the whole ages and stage calculator. So when you got that all figured out and you've decided, okay, I need to be doing the 18-month questionnaire on this kiddo, then you would fill in very minimal information here. I do want to put out too that not only do us early Head Start home visitors complete these, and I would want to think most thoroughly. Early Intervention Services does theirs as well, but the doctor's offices is what I want to mention. The doctor will probably, or the nurse will walk and talk you through those questions so fast that, you know, a lot of times in that environment, we're just, yeah, and we're agreeing. And we may mislead the doctor into believing that the child's able to do a lot more than they are able. So I never like the parent to just have the doctor services. Even at WIC, Women, Infinite Children, I don't know that they complete the ASQ either. So again, you know, not ringing the bell for my for what I do, because even before I worked in early Head Start, I was passionate about early Head Start and Head Start because I am a firm believer that learning begins in the womb. And a lot of people challenge that, but early Head Start maximizes on that. So I'm going to scroll a little bit down in this document to give you an idea of what some of the questions look like on the social emotional. Okay, so here if you can see, we got things like, does your child look at you when you talk to them? When you leave, does your child stay upset and cry for more than an hour? Does your child laugh or smile when you play with them? Any of these questions and moving on that you begin to answer never, you know, rarely, those are some moments of caution, and it wouldn't be so much for the referral here on the social emotional, but it would be to bring attention to so that the parent can initiate some of that nurturing and love and stimulation, physical stimulation that the child needs so much to really evolve in their social and emotional skills. I want to go down closer to the bottom. Okay, so we end up with questions like this, direct questions for the parents to not only give us information, but also to think on some things themselves. Do you have any concerns about your child's eating or sleeping behaviors? Some children begin to gag on their food. Some children chew the flavor out and spit the meat out. Some children may get hives or don't like certain textures of foods. And so this is where you will get the answers to those questions, or at least you'll get the parent to pondering about, you know, these behaviors. Does anything about you worry you? Does anything about your child worry you? And the last one, what do you enjoy doing with your child? Let me go up a little bit. So those are questions, you know, that the parent should think about in depth and answer appropriately. And then this is an idea of what the screening should look like as you tally everything up. So there's 4 areas that you looked at, and you'll give a score for those 4 areas. So here you see the cutoff is 65. If that child is between 50 and 65, what we do is called rescreen. So the early Head Start worker, if it's working with Early Head Start program, would then talk to the parent about, you know, where this child scored low at, give the parent some concrete examples and ideas of what to do to bring that score up. And then you would rescreen typically in 3 months. I'm pretty much watching it week to week and really trying to get that reminder to that parent. And I'll give you a good example. Social emotional going wrong. Have a family. Mom has a very, very flat affect, some slight depression, but she's just, you know, whatever may have, you know, gone on in her life and her childhood, it shows on her face. And so because of that, her children have a very flat affect as well. And I didn't really get communication out of the children until they gained a little bit of knowledge about me, you know, kind of got used to me coming in and out of the house. They would, you know, come to me for a hug or to be held, or when they were crying, because typically mom would not respond. And when I would do these screenings on those children, they scored very low. They're not smiling because mom's not smiling at them. They're not hugging because mom's not hugging them. They're not responding to someone who's hurt because no one's responding to them hurt. There's got to be an understanding from the parent, and that's why I spoke on it in the 2 previous videos, that you are your child's definition of who they should be. Not what you tell them, but who you are. Your child wants to grow up to be just like you, until they become a certain age where they may start to now analyze, you know, the type of parent you are and see other parental styles. And then they may, you know, have their own idea of how you should be parenting them. And then that's when you get a little discourse. We all know about the 1 yawn per video. Okay, so that's what I wanted to pay attention to, okay? One more thing. Hold on, I'm having some screen malfunctions. Old people in technology. One more thing I want to say here, and then I'm going to give you a brief look at the regular ASQ. Again, this is just the social emotional. So let's say that the child was lower. Wait a minute, we're going the other way on this one, I'm sorry. If they're above 65, then we need to refer. So between 50 and 65 on this one, you rescreen. 65 and up, because the no's are counted as more points, not less, as the ASQ. So I hope I didn't confuse anybody with that. So if the child scores too high, then you have to refer. So you rescreen or you refer, depending. And I will give you more information on the refer shortly. For now, we're going to take a look at just a second. I'm going to pull up an ASQ for us here, and we'll be done. My neighbor said some stuff out, so there's somebody pulling up to it. Okay, give me a minute here. I hope everyone is having a good weekend and can maybe come back around and give me some ideas for the next series. What should I teach on next? I'm really thinking about including this one in my course material because I'm so passionate about children. Okay, now I got what we need to be looking at. Let me make it available to you. Screen share. Okay, you should be seeing the ASQ now, not the social emotional. This is the one for the other domains. So what I talked about in the other one was that premature date right there. If baby was born 3 or more weeks prematurely, number of weeks premature, because that matters. All right. So that's the difference. It had that on that form and not the other one. Now we're going to move down. Now we're at communication. See the first block here? Communication, language, okay? There's a total of 60 points the child can earn in each section. And this one you want to have more points. The SE, more points means refer. The SQ, the more points means you're all right, you're more on target. You move from communication to gross motor. Another thing I like about this section I want to mention, this is something that helps us show parents when they have those unrealistic expectations. This shows what we're really looking for in this age and stage. Okay, more gross motor. Here's some identity ideas of fine motor that we talked about on the other video. See, the child has to pick up the little Cheerio. Let's scroll that for you. So really being able to use that thumb and that first index finger there, okay? That's developing that fine motor. Being able to throw a small ball overhead, turning the pages of a book, all right? And then we go on. Problem solving, your cognitive skills. And then there are also some personal social questions on here. This is a big one that I was talking about with that family I just mentioned. Look at number 3. Does your baby play with a doll or stuffed animal by hugging it? The family that I was mentioning to you, the child doesn't smile because the mom doesn't smile. The older child that I started with first, you give her the baby doll or the stuffed animal. She throws it, she hits it, she's very mean to it. So when her younger brother got old enough for me to do this screening on him, he would take the stuffed animal or the baby and bang it. So you would imagine that they score low in these areas. And I've done more than one referral for them, and mom does not follow through. Okay, so just like the other one, this one has an end where you want to ask a parent directly these questions. You want to get as most of your questions answered from observation and opportunity, meaning, bring the material so that you can really see if the child can do these things. It got very challenging when we had to do these screenings remotely, I will tell you that. So here you see it has, does your baby use both hands and legs equally well? Does your baby play with sounds or seem to make words? Do you have any concerns that your baby is too quiet? Does either parent have a history, let's go back up, of deafness or hearing loss? Concerns about your baby's vision? Any medical problems lately? Anything that worries you? And then just like that other one, you have an area where you tally those scores in each field, each domain. And again here, if the child scoring in this black area, anywhere of this black area for any one of these things, it's an automatic referral. The grayish blue areas, rescreen. Provide the opportunity, screen them in another month or 3. Black, refer. Okay, let's get real clear on that. Now that we know what that is, and now that we know how we come up with those answers, let's go from here. So I'll go ahead and stop the screen sharing. All right. And just end this with my talk about intervention. So you've come into services, you've had your child screened and evaluated, and now you've noticed some red flags. What do you do? If you are working with a early Head Start person, they would do the referral for a screening. If your doctor happens to pick up on something, they can do the referral for a screening. And sometimes even women and infant and children, where you get your formula or your food coupons when the baby's small, they could do a referral for you as well. Again, not tooting the horn for my program, but the best way to stay on top of your child's development and the best way to maximize your child's development is to get involved with your early Head Start pre-K programs in your neighborhood, in your city, in your community. All right? So early intervention can be through youth services networks. It could be through the Y. It could be through other Catholic organizations like Catholic Charities. Early intervention services will range depending on if you're in a rural city, if you're in a county, just really depends on what your demographic is. But each and every city has somewhere an early intervention specialist and program. And what that person will come in and do is a more extensive screening on your child based on the person's referral, but also based on what they're physically seeing and experiencing themselves, because the early intervention specialist is trained to look specifically at these certain areas and things. I feel like I'm an expert in it because I've been taking care of kids since I was about 9, 10 years old. So I spent a lot of time as a teenager. I read child development books, and here I am. But for those new teachers, or maybe those unseasoned teachers, or maybe, just anyone that's seeing the child a short length of time, it would behoove you not to get an expert opinion. So I'm going to suggest that you find a program that you can get your child into. Home visiting is a program where we come to the home for an hour, 90 minutes a week. We present a lesson plan with an activity. Mom works with that activity. We want to encourage the parent to be the teacher. We're there an hour a week. The parent is there all day, every day. So we come in as a support. The title may say teacher, but we know and the world knows that the parent is the teacher. So coming in, providing that support to you, making sure your family has those other outside resources so that you guys are living and thriving the best possible way. And then if there is that need for that early intervention specialist, they will come in and provide even more services. I have several of my students are in speech therapy, behavior therapy. I have one that's seeing a nutritionist, low birth weight. So yeah, early intervention is very important. Along with the ages and stages questionnaire, we also have other screening tools. One of the screening tools that my facility uses particularly is called HELP. But basically it's just way more in depth, way more fluid than the ASQ screening. So though there are other screening tools that are used in those early Head Start and pre-K programs, so it will behoove you not to get involved. That's all I gotta say on that topic. So we've completed early Head Start, what it is and what is beneficial, the 5 critical domains to learning and child development, and why social emotional is so important. And today we have completed the ages and stages questionnaire screening tool and a little bit about the early intervention services. I will attach some links in the description for further research. And again, I will provide my email information, but the comments work for me as well. I'm still a very small channel, Therefore, I am able to communicate with my subscribers directly at this time. I know one day it will be like hard to do, because I hear other people talk about it. So take advantage, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, share the information. Like I said, this is my baby, so you'll probably be seeing more on children and child development, parenting tips, etc. Okay? Appreciate you watching. Peace. Namaste.
Life in a world that keeps changing. Think that it's progress you're making. Copy and paste pretty faces all the time. Pictures so perfect we play through, only cause you set up the angle. Web that you weave got us tangled, caught in what's before our eyes. Show off your fantasy, reality, whoa.